So we got a call from a boat owner. They want to see if we can get these engines started. They haven't been started in over 10 years. The marina's over an hour away for us, so we have to drive back and forth every day, and it's a little bit of a chore. So let me give you some background on this one. The starboard engine ingested salt water on this boat, and that's where the gear-driven hydraulic pump is. It's not feasible, easily feasible, take a lot of work to move the gear-driven hydraulic pump from the right side to the left side. It's a lot of work. So what we're doing is conferred with some guys up at Boat Steer Incorporated. They do a lot of our steering. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take some lines off and turn this into manual steering. And it won't be as responsive as power steering, but it'll still work because they're going to be low and slow on one engine all the way up to, I don't know where they're going, I think Dinah Beach, to get that engine rebuilt. So I got Mel here. He's working on swapping. What we have to do is swap some hydraulic lines. So that's what we're working on. Okay, so what Mel's got to do is, so you've got two cylinders here, right? The forward one is the master, the back one's the slave. Take these two hydraulic lines off and take these two hydraulic lines off of this one, and we're going to put these on there. That will then bypass all the power steering, and we will cap those lines, then bleed, and we should have manual steering at that point, hopefully. But I've been told that's what will work. That's what we're working on. The hardest part, I think, is going to be bleeding the system, so we'll have to figure that out. So here with Mel this morning over at Ocean's Edge Marina. What are we doing over here, Mel?
Well, we've got to check a steering cylinder, make sure it's working. Checked it yesterday, but my recording didn't save, so go back and do it again.
What happened was they lost an engine, and the starboard engine is the one that provides the hydraulics for the steering. So we had to come up with a solution to get steering on the boat. Moving the pump from the starboard engine to the port engine wasn't really feasible. So we got creative, and Mel and AJ helped for a little bit.
Still here washing that thing?
Oh, yeah.
These ports are open, right?
Correct. Those are the bleeder ports. That's so the fluid can bypass in the cylinder as it moves. When we first did it, it hydrolocked, so.
Yep. What we did was move the lines off of this and moved them back to this cylinder, because this is the master cylinder that runs off the helm upstairs. So more or less, we just bypassed the pump. Mel, you want to run up there and turn it back and forth for me for a minute?
Is it moving?
No.
What?
No. There we go.
Oh, it's going the wrong way.
Mel is up at the helm, cranking the helm. Nothing's running, and we have manual steering. I'm impressed. It's working pretty good. We got the lines all capped off. This clear plastic tube is just to keep it clean in there so that cylinder can move back and forth. Hey, Mel, how many turns is it from lock to lock?
I believe it was 60.
60? So from full left to full right is 60 turns?
I believe that's what we counted.
Jeez.
Because when we started, it was more.
Well, it's looking good.
And then we had to get it centered. It's on the hydraulic reservoir, explains it.
Oh, okay. Feels good though, right? Up there?
Yeah, I mean, it's not your normal feel. It takes a lot more to turn it than you normally would. So that's all he needs to know.
Talking about quality checks and accountability for tools and things like that. We've worked on his boat down here before, and this is the port engine. It's covered with fuel, and it's a mess. So the reason he sent that was he didn't know what happened. Well, I said, you need to do some research. You need to look around the boat and find out where the leak is. So let's take a look at what we found. So there's a ratchet. See this fuel line right here? That's a high pressure fuel line off the rail, fuel rail. The rub mark on the tool and there, because they had set that down when they were working on the engine, and they left it there. And it ate through, and now it's caused all kinds of problems. And now they think that there's problems and damage to the fuel rail and the high pressure fuel pump because of that. So he actually asked me if I would fly to Nova Scotia to fix this. And obviously I said, I can't do that. So he's having to deal with the shop that did the work up there, and they can't get this tube. It's overseas. I told them, go ahead and have a temporary fuel line made. Just make sure it's rated for the right pressures.
I mean, can you make that out of rubber, or does it have to be?
No, it can be high strength rubber with
it should be steel just because of where rubbing.
What I'm saying is, I'm not saying we don't do good work. Man, you got to make sure you got your tools, make sure everything's cleaned up, make sure the job's done right. Something simple like that. That's going to cost that shop
thousands of dollars.
Well, who knows? We don't know yet.
10,000.
There's the other thing. I know we talked about quality, but let's talk about being safe. You know, always keep track of where your fingers are, wear your eye protection. If you're in somewhere really loud, put some earplugs in. We have some. There's safety glasses over there. It ain't worth it to lose an eye or a finger or a toe.
Or bonk your head.
Or bonk my head, right. So now I have I don't have it, it's in the truck, my sporty little bump cap.
I'm just trying to figure out how to get this rod out.
You're not going to get that rod out. You got to take this off of here.
Okay. So I'm going to have to go get a puller for this.
Well, I think what we'll do is if it doesn't come off, we'll leave this one alone and just do the other side.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to get a puller to actually get that fully off.
Because the other side's the one that needs to be replaced, right?
This one right here.
Leave this side alone
Okay.
and just do the other side.
Sure.
Let me see that box of parts. Yeah, so, and then there's new nuts and bolts in here.
Yeah. Do you want me to replace all the nuts and bolts? May as well since we got new ones.
Yeah, might as well. Make sure we grease and everything.
Yeah, I have a grease on it.
And then leave these old parts on board.
Okay.
All right. So it's just 2 cylinders, right?
No, it's 4 actually. Each engine has its own cylinder.
Oh, okay. I must have been thinking about a different boat. So yeah, we'll have to get this bled. It's been here hasn't ran since 2015, and it's been through 2 hurricanes, and the rats have been at it. Well, we got a little bit of a mess.
A little.
And somebody else was here and took some wires off, and I got power at one switch, but I don't have power at the other switch, and I can't get power. I jump power straight to the EVCs. I don't know if the fire suppression system box works, which is right there, and it's all corroded. So we're gonna probably, I suspect, have to order a whole bunch of new parts. So I would expect ignition switches. I would expect a throttle, the key panel, which is that little guy right there. I would expect EVCs, and we may have to run new wires. New cables. Oh yeah, the displays. Yeah. We're going to take that one display out again and pop the thing off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the key, and you're going to tell me if there's any power getting up to this thing. Is that display coming on at all?
Try it again.
No? Any light on that little EVC panel?
Go again. Nope, nothing.
But I jump power into this other switch that doesn't have power, and now you can hear the fire safe box is clicking, but I still have no display, no control, no nothing. This one does not click. Man, this is a tough one because I kind of need new parts because I don't think this stuff is good. Did you send me a picture of this throttle?
Yep.
Okay.
Send you a picture of the throttle, the 2 EVCs, and the E key.
Tell me if anything happens.
Nothing on the screen.
Something's clicking though, right?
Yeah.
But there's no backlight coming on or anything?
Nothing on the screen.
Make sure I got my wires right.
Yeah, pretty much also. This whole thing right here is being held up by this block of wood. So if this moves, this whole thing comes slamming down. And then the rat's nest back here.
So no status light. So I'm not getting any power to my HCUs, or they're totally dead. He said he read power to go into these. Let me see here. All right, so I got voltage on that guy. Start. So this should be hot. The instrument should be lit. I got voltage going out. Port ECU. So I'm looking for this one right here. Where's that plugging into?
Right here.
Let me see.
Where my hand is, this plug.
Okay, so I should be able to read and have power going to this because this comes from the ignition switch. And I've got power on my port ignition. This was plugged into the port ECU, right? That one?
Yep, this one right here.
So one of these should have, I'm guessing that one of that, black and red would be normal.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully. Which one was it again?
This one right here. Hook those two up to these two. Hang on. Where do those wires go into? Oh, they're going to the fire safe, I think.
What, these ones?
Yeah. Take where those little wires with the clamps on them go.
Okay.
Yeah, just use them and clamp those together.
Like one to the other?
Yeah, so I have power. Okay, so I got power in, and I've got power going out. Get power there. Do I have power on the other side? So this goes
This is Connex
to the end, right?
Yeah.
That goes, that's that one right there, right?
Yep.
And then where did these other wires?
That one splices into this guy and then spiders off.
To that where we have the power jumped in.
Yeah.
So we have power from here into there, right?
This first plug right here. So
we have power coming into here. Then there should be power here. So take this back off again. Well, watch your step.
Yep.
Rope. Well, we're wrapped up. We do have power to the computers, but computers won't light, so hasn't been started in 10 years. We're probably going to need to get some new wire harnesses, new ignition switches, new displays, new EVC key panel, new computers. So there's computers down in the engines too. So we don't know if those are any good. We don't know if the wire harnesses are any good. We're going to have to do a lot of finding out, and we might end up having to do a lot of trips. So this boat up there with the engines that won't start and the computers are all dead. They've been working on this boat for over a year, and I had to tell them, hey, before we spend however much it is going to be to upgrade the electronic system to a newer EVC, to make sure the engines are good first. Could you imagine spending, I don't know, $80,000 on computers and cables and instruments, hook all that up, and then come to find out the actual engines themselves are no good? Oof, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that. So that's why I said we need to start with the basic stuff first. We need to make sure the actual blocks are good. And that's what they're doing. Curious on your thoughts on that boat up there in Marathon, the one that hasn't started for 10, 11 years and hasn't been serviced for 15. Do you really think it's worth it? I'd love to see some of your comments about that. What do you do in that situation? I know he just wants to get the boat running and sell it, but still, how much are you going to put into it to get it to that point? Let me know.
All right, AJ, what are we doing here?
Bring you over this way. You want to shine your fancy light in there. In the back over there, we replaced that Raymarine Autopilot, Smart Pilot back there. So what I'm doing now is I found the manual for it. I'm just going through to see how I can calibrate this. And I don't know if it needs to be in the water to calibrate it or if we could do it on the dry dock to calibrate it.
You should be able to do a dock calibration.
Yeah, that's what I was
on
thinking.
shore.
That's what I was thinking. So
I believe it has to be checked.
I want you to check through the rudders and stuff, but I'm sure that's fine. I just need to figure out how to actually calibrate it.
It's a nice little Hinckley boat, so.
I really like this boat. I like all like the wood trim and stuff like that. It's a very old, nice boat.
Classic style.
It's rare to see a boat this well maintained too, in this age.
People who have Hinckley's take care of them because they're good boats. All right, well, we'll go back to the other side now. Okay, what we got here today is a couple of Yamaha engines that we're doing a service on. We've got the lower units broken loose. On port engine here, though, we're going to have a small problem because one of the bolts has broken off. So we got to pull the lower unit, get the bolt out, and we got to take the lower units off anyway to change the impellers. We're draining the oils, got the props loose, standard service. Now, also on this boat, we had some other items that we were tasked with checking. All of the operational, we've got all the switches together, labeled so that the owner knows which one controls which item. We had some problems back here in the back with the bilge pumps. One bilge pump has a water sensor to turn it on and off, and one is switched at the panel here. We couldn't get the one for the switch to work, so we did some checking. We found out that the pump itself is actually bad, so we're going to change the pump, put a new hose. There's some clamps that need to be changed. Okay, now we got the lower units off, both engines, but now I got this bolt here that's broken, so we start to drill that out. I tried to use a pair of vice grip pliers real tight on it. It will not turn at all. I filed off the end and peened a middle point on the bolt to start drilling it. We'll drill it out. That's the best we can do. Took the lower units off, changed the impeller, which goes in this part right here. But this cover goes on top of the impeller. It is overheated. The inside has gotten so hot that it is deformed all of this in the way of the channel where the water's supposed to go. So that's going to be a problem.
I was walking down the dock, getting ready to go do some work, got the gauges, and ran into these two young people.
We're vacationing and having a great time, and I knew I was going to run into you at some point.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for recognizing me and thanks for watching.
Always.
And
Always.
keep watching because you're probably going to be famous.
Oh, no.
Or should I say infamous?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
No one knows I'm here.